Sorry, I think I turned off the recording. So this is, this is very controlling. This is very holding back. This is, even reflected in the body. It's holding back, and this is giving away, or telling someone to stop or something like that. But this necessarily doesn't really mean anything except that it's neither here or nor there. And it is this in between space where the consciousness of the body and the control of the body. Let me just demonstrate through the camera. Right, it makes the body very supple because it's that in-between space wherein the consciousness or the mind is not really holding in or holding back, and not necessarily stopping or not necessarily whatever the other thing is, or letting go completely, just letting go. We let go, people just let go. Also, the entire hand is open. So this mudra is sort of this in-between sort of space, which is the right sort of airflow, let's say, in the body, that the consciousness is neither entirely withheld nor entirely, outwardly expressed, or outwardly outwardly expressed is the word for it, I guess. So, it's that sweet spot wherein there is no separation between the self and the outer. The outer and the inner is one. So it makes it easier to form perspectives or understand things from other people's perspective or other perspectives. For example, going here, this sort of perspective, or from the perspective of the fingers, for example, which don't really look all that good because of this. So I light coal sometimes during the winters. So sorry about that. But you understand. So from the perspective of this, or the perspective of this creation, let's say, right? Or from someone else's perspective, or from my perspective, so this makes it easier to understand the perspective of the other, right? Because it makes the prana, the life force, when you fully breathe in, you can tighten your entire body. Take in a deep breath and tighten your entire body. You will only be able to tighten all the parts of your body when you take in a breath that corresponds with that body part. So you're going to take in a slightly deeper breath. Only your lungs are going to fill up with air, with prana. But you take a deep breath, you'll feel your stomach also distends. You take a deeper breath, you feel like your hands and your feet also assimilate some sort of life force energy. So this liveliness, all right, from or for example, right? So this sort of perspective into every aspect of reality that is outwardly manifest by the modulation of breath. And of course, it is inherently breath that is also shaped this, This thing is also shaped by breath. It follows a similar sort of trajectory as perhaps breath does. Taking a deep breath, taking a deep breath. Even your eyes would open up completely if you take a deep enough breath. Listen to that again. Even your eyes are going to open completely if you take in a deep enough breath. Because it's not necessarily just the oxygen that you're taking in, but liveliness. That liveliness that you take in, that right? For example, All right. So this breath that you take, right? This liveliness that you feel when you watch it, think of it like it's your perspective. Because visually, I hope that this sort of medium is going to help with that bridging, wherein what I see, you see, sort of a thing. So this mudra that I make is that place in between. All right. It's that place wherein the other and myself does not exist. You and I don't exist as separate. They exist as the subjective experience that you're going through and the subjective experience that I'm going through. All right. So by all means, make symbols. A lot of people make this symbol. I don't know what that means. I have made it in my youth, but I have grown over that symbol. Some people make this. Some people make this. Some people make this. Some people make this. Some people all do all sorts of things. They make different symbols with their hands. So I make this because it corresponds to the level of reality that I am experiencing, wherein if I am speaking to someone and I'm continuously making this sort of a gesture, that means that in a very experiential sort of way, in a very point of view sort of way, I don't really feel a separation. But this happens unconsciously. This is not a conscious thing that I'm doing. And because I'm doing it unconsciously and I'm studying it from a conscious perspective, only then am I able to deduce that, all right, so this is the in between spot of breath. And that breath controls the aspect of reality that I experience. You're all just breath, right? We're all just breath. The only thing that is different between you and a dead person is breath. The moment your breath stops, your entire body that is held together by whatever field of energy, um, whatever gives this form, this biology structure, whatever sustains the telomeres. All right, whatever sustains the bloody telomeres, that is something that leaves your body, that animating factor. But that doesn't mean that the body itself is still living even when you die. The thousands and the millions and the billions of microbes in your body are still experiencing reality. I gotta sound posh sometimes, because if I sound like a dihati, or if I forget the years and years of indoctrinated sort of accent that I've put on. Anyway, so it's interesting, and I think that it is nice to delve into. I think you should all be doing a little bit of spring cleaning. Clean your room, clean things, and find things that you have forgotten in your own house. Find things that you have forgotten in corners. Find hobbies that you have forgotten. Do things that make you happy. Creatively express yourself in every aspect of your being, I think it's very important. Creativity is a topic that I would really want to discuss in a lot of detail and where it comes from. I think creativity is channeled from a place that is beyond time and space. And that is why science fiction writers of the past behave in a fashion that is very similar to prophets of the ancient world, wherein prophets wrote that these are things that are going to come to pass, and things come to pass. And science fiction writers or fantasy writers or creative writers write fiction, and the fiction comes true because they're drawing from the same place. The ideas that the creative writer is drawing from, in this place that exists above your head where you draw ideas from, is the same place as spiritual psycho experiences, wherein prophets see crazy visions and then those visions come true at a later date in time. It's very similar to how the kind of Orwellian world that we're living in was predicted by a man who wrote science fiction. That's why we call it Orwellian. George Orwell, 1984. Yes, so anyway, so this is, the nice little connection that I have. And there's a lot of stories. I love roses, dried roses like that. I love them. I love keeping them like this. Another lucky bamboo. And this is the soapstone little tea lights. So I light some, candles sometimes over here. It doesn't really give a nice little shadow or anything, but I just like it. It fills in the space nicely. You see, it fills in this space nicely. Hello. So yeah, and this is another one that I'm making. So I'm making a lot of. This is going to be another. This is gonna sort of bleed into this, this sort of place, and then this thing is gonna go. So I'll do something. So I'll have to see how this, this effect. So like this. Right, so something like this. Zoom, 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 zoom. All right, so oh yes, I forgot. And there's this little crow. You see, there's so many things in this little spot that I could forget, and I can't really make a vlog for hours and hours at an end now. But so much to do. So this crow that I have, I think this is a normal figurine crow. I think Safari Limited or something like that. So I have placed it over here. I've plastered it over here, let's say, with wax, because I really like the lime yellow color that this has, and the wax effect flowing on it. Think of it like painting, really, because it is a lot like painting. So I love the way the wax sort of drips down. I love the effect of wax and the form of wax, and wax as a material, I think, is a very beautiful material. And it sort of reminds me, especially when melted wax on wood and bookcases, it reminds me of Victorian era, and yeah, and then things like that. It reminds me of the Victorian Gothic era. So yeah, I really like it. I mean, I think it's nice. Zip. So, so yeah, and these are just things then. So I like them. All right, so yeah, let's say bye bye. Let's do something with the camera or something like that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's impressive enough, I think. I really like this effect, sort of organically zooming in. I don't know whether it came out right or not, as I hoped that it would come out. All right, so I think that's cool enough, and we could keep going on and on and on with this. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this little vlog that I made, and I will see you next time, maybe sooner than you expect. Maybe make more of these, maybe show you the progress of the rest of the places in the house that I have been redecorating, let's say. So yeah, I'll see you then in a little while. Till then, ramble on.